What's going on, y'all? Back at it with reading the Wheel of Time. It's been, I don't know, has it been over 2 years? No, not two, maybe one. I don't know. Y'all may know before I know, but I know my co-host is gonna know. I'm gonna bring up somebody here special in a second. But what this video is for, what this set of live streams is for, is my first time read through of The Great Hunt. So in preparation of Wheel of Time season 3 coming up, I figured this would be a good time to go ahead and kick off reading Wheel of Time again. For those of y'all who are new to the channel, this is a channel where we go over a lot of different shows, a lot of movies, and now kind of including a lot more book related content as well, since a lot of material that we covered does have book source material. So in this particular video, we're going to be covering The Great Hunt, Wheel of Time, and we're going to be looking at chapters 1 through 5. So if you are tuned in to the live and or tuned in to the video in the comments, please keep things 1 through 5 only. I know a lot of y'all are Wheel of Time experts, and there's a lot of stuff that y'all are going to want to talk about, and we can get through all of that. But for the sake of not being spoiled or not getting ahead to other people who are trying to listen and watch along with what we're discussing, look at the schedule, look at the agenda, and we'll let you know what chapters we're going to cover. But before I get into any other stuff, I do want to go ahead and introduce my co-host, bring her to the stage. If you've tuned in to my read of The Eye of the World, she was extremely instrumental in not only making that a fun first-time experience, but a spoiler-free experience. You know, you can't trust everybody to keep you safe. But without further ado, let me go ahead and add Jenny to the stage. What's going on, Jenny?
Hey, not much. I'm all about this right now. This is exciting. I don't know about you. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before, but people have been all up on me since we did the first. When are you doing book 2? So.
Yeah, we talked about that slightly, for sure, as we were talking about things in preparation for this stream. But one of the things was just like, I'll be watching, like, I don't know, Game of Thrones or Avatar or something. It's like, hey, when is the stream? It's like, I want to talk about that. Can we talk about this show right here? But yeah, I would like to do it. I don't know when and where, how it's gonna work. But glad to have you, especially glad to have you on the first one as we kick this off. But yeah, a lot of things have changed outside of different shows and things that we've been covering. One of the most pivotal things that I feel like that has changed for you is that you actually have a body and hands now. You got hands.
I know. Look at this. I can gesture. Are you doing
sign language and everything?
I could actually. Could. Yeah. And the biggest thing I'd say that changed for you, you became like you're what's it called? Silver Star? You're 100K.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm still Adison. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
You're big time. You're big time. You're big time now.
A few more numbers. A few more people have been added to the family, man. A few more people. But
congratulations.
But yeah, no problem. Thank you so much. Yeah. One of the things we did to kick off that was do a 24-hour live stream. I don't know if you're in the stream and things of that nature. You did. You did. Hopefully it wasn't a portion where I was actually asleep on stream. But
I actually did come on when you were.
Of course, that's the one moment that never mind. I don't know what part of that you caught, but hopefully it was a good part.
No, I got some good parts too.
But yeah, honing everybody in. We got a few people real quick in the chat. I'll go ahead and shout out. This one actually is for you from Natasha. Says hello. Hey, also got Joe White in the chat. We also have Movies in Moscato. What's going on? Appreciate you for tuning in. Who else we have? We have Captain Uzumaki in here who says can't wait for the next season. Season 3, I believe, is what they're talking about, because that is what I'm super excited about. And then we also have somebody who says, oh my OMG, a live book club. So this comment, I know this stems from the fact that we've been experimenting a little bit with book club on the back end in our Discord server. If you want to tap into that, and we would love to have you there, especially if you want to get notifications about all the things that we have going on with the channel. But without further ado, I know it feels like I can just do intros for the next like 30 or 40 minutes, especially since it's been so long since me and Jenny have talked. We got a chance to catch up briefly before this. But I'm excited. This was a lot of fun. Also, a huge shout out to for Kate, one of the mods who's helping facilitate this entire thing. If it's one thing for sure, she's gonna make sure it don't matter what's coming out, but we're gonna get to that Wheel of Time. And she's a big proponent of that. Has been rocking with us the whole time.
I mean, I'm a bit of a Wheel of Time fan. You might be able to tell behind me.
You trying to say I didn't come to the stream prepared? Is that what you're saying?
Where are your posters? Why don't you have 7 posters?
Actually, you know what? I have a Wheel of Time one. It came from, I forget the company, so I don't want to shout out the wrong company and then get in trouble for that. They sent me a poster frame, and on each slide, it had the color scheme from every single scene. It was like some
Ooh.
movie. It's like a movie color palette thing. It was super dope. If I can, well, actually put it up now that I started the stream. I had it in the studio just in the corner this whole time, and now that we've started the stream, I actually have it put up in a whole another room on the wall mounted. So I may bring that out later.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and hop straight into it. We are going to be covering again chapters 1 through 5. This is also going to include the prologue. So without further ado, Jenny, do you want to take us away and kick off with the prologue portion of it?
Yeah. So as we did in the first one, I want to show you, because one of the things you get when you're doing the audiobooks, you do miss one of the visuals that the books offer, which are the chapter icons. So the chapter icon for chapter 1, if you could put that up, is this. It's just the Wheel of Time. This is not the most exciting chapter icon, but it's this one here. So that's just the standard one. The prologue. Do you know what the prologue is called in the Wheel of Time fandom? This prologue is kind of,
that's not gonna be here in this book, is it? Oh.
No, it won't be. It's just it's a pet name that the Wheel of Time fandom has for this prologue. We call it the Dark Friends Social.
You know what's funny? Hold on. If you were gonna let me answer, I was gonna say like the Dark Friends note. I was gonna be funny, and actually, Dark Friend was gonna be the first thing I said in it. So dang, I don't even get credit for almost being.
I'm sorry. Okay, I got.
Be a lot of people in the chat says, of course, he was gonna say that, right?
No, y'all know. Okay, come on, Adison. One of your big skills is naming things. So yes.
or butchering the names, as we talk about in the spelling quizzes. But I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it's called. So basically, the scene is okay. What did you pick up from this scene?
This was the scene where it was the gentleman who was having a conversation with the Dark One, right? And I guess you're kind of seeing the pecking order of Dark Friends and Dark Ones and things in that nature. So I guess it does. Are you pretty much trying to say that all of the prologues are going to be interactions with Dark Friends of some nature, or you're not allowed to say that? Or?
I didn't say that. No, I'm just particular prologue. That's generally what it's called. I'm not saying anything about any future prologues, even if there are future prologues. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I'm not telling you. So that's how that goes. Do you remember the dude's name, the main guy, like his point of view?
Oh snap! You tell me it's like
they're pulling out the book.
You know what's crazy? Hey, shout out the good folks over, at Amazon Prime and the Wheel of Time folks. Man, they actually, they got me situated with the audio book is actually what I've been listening to. Okay. It's the audio book that I've been listening to. Let me see if I can very briefly go through and see a name. I'm just throw it out. Boars on the first line.
Yeah,
I got so lucky. It was literally, I kid y'all not, I'm gonna read the first line. The man who called himself Boars.
Yes,
yes. I love it when it's that easy.
I mean, I was gonna do it in a trick question because that's actually not his name. He just calls himself Boars because it's all a big secret. Yeah, I guess one of the questions I wanted, because you came to the Wheel of Time from the show. This scene, you got the man who calls himself Boars. The first chunk of this scene is basically him just looking around the room. Do you remember how they did this in the show?
I do. When he was looking around the room. You're not talking about the Dark Friend get together where it was him and a lot of the different people, Dark Friends, that were not necessarily revealed around the round table? Is that the portion you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah. I'm curious to know. I mean, you're just having a conversation here, like what you think, because in the books, it's the man who calls himself Boars, just looking around the room going, oh, that person's wearing this, that person's an Aes Sedai, that person's this, that person's this. In the show, I mean, the man who calls himself Boars might be there, but we don't know. But it's a little girl that we're mostly in her perspective. So what do you think about how they translated this from the books to the show?
I think it's pretty neat. I think it just goes to show that you can't have a viewpoint of who you do and do not think is susceptible to being a dark friend, maybe.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's the biggest thing that I get from it.
yeah, yeah. I thought this scene, the way they did it in the show, personally, I thought it was actually really smart because in the books, literally, you're just in Bors's head as he's just
Mhm.
looking at everybody's clothes, and I think that would be a very boring scene to watch of
Yeah.
just somebody standing
Yeah.
there being like,
Yeah, yeah.
look at her clothes, look at their clothes, look at that. So that, having a little girl under the table looking around
Mhm.
and seeing stuff, I thought
That
that was
was a
pretty
very
interesting.
creative way of putting it for sure. Yeah, that was super dope. That was super creative,
Yeah.
especially all like, I don't know if you remember, you probably did it too, or you probably already knew all the speculation. Oh man, who could that be? I see those
Mm,
garments. I see, this person looks clean. That person looks dirty. I mean, that looks like somebody's mama's outfit. I remember doing the whole 9 yards to try to assess who it might
yes.
have been. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, so the dark one, like it's Balsamon, comes in and he gives out, like, basically he gives a holographic PowerPoint about our
yeah,
three boys. Yeah.
yeah.
What did you pull anything from that, from the holographic PowerPoint?
Outside of the fact that it was Ren, Perrin, and golly, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I mean, everybody, I mean, even as we go further in the chapter, everybody's saying how woven and how intertwined their paths and stuff are gonna be, which
Yeah.
yeah, those are some of the things that I mean, it just makes me wonder, like, I mean, obviously it feels like Rand is the main character, but the way that they keep bringing people forward and backward, just like, well, who is or is not potentially going to be a good or bad guy.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just kind of interesting seeing how both the good and the bad have their eyes on these three guys. And it almost seems like they're content. It seems like everybody wants Rand, but it's like if we can at least get one of the three that'll help whoever's cause a little bit more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
the other.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. And then Balzaban is giving out instructions like
the
one
Digimon.
by one. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm
It's been
having
a while, but every
flashbacks.
time I hear
Yes, it's been.
Balzamon, I hear Digimon.
Yeah, you're gonna catch him? Wait, am I
That's
get
Pokemon.
that's Pokemon. Oh, I'm so old.
Because remember
Okay.
I said I wasn't allowed to watch Pokemon at first, so all I could watch is Digimon, so that's where
Right, right. Okay. So he gives out instructions.
Mhm.
I thought it was really cool the way they did this. Like the instructions that he gives are like he gives secret instructions.
Yes.
Like, yeah, and even the people themselves don't know that they're getting their instructions.
Yeah.
Do you remember the instructions that he was giving to Bors?
Oh, you might have to refresh me. I think the feeling I do remember is him being a little bit irritated about not knowing what was happening, but then he
Mm-hmm.
got like you said, a hologram visual of what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory though. Refresh my
Well, he
memory.
told him, hold on, I'm gonna once again pull something up on screen just a sec.
Because I think it
Let
was
me
just
get
about
it.
him just watching them though, correctly? If I'm not
Uh yeah, okay. So I've got a map up here.
uh-huh. Adding that.
Hold on. Okay. So he said to, oh, it's not as big as I want it to be. Sorry. I thought it
Let
would
me
be
see.
bigger. But he said, I want you to continue doing your good work on Toman Head. This is Toman Head here. It's
Mhm.
this peninsula. And I don't know if you can make it out here at the end. There's a city. It's called Falme. So he's basically said, continue doing your good work in Falme.
Mhm.
And he like it, the way they say it, like it's like good works. I can almost see the quotation
Yeah.
marks around the term good works in Toman Head. And then he gives him like a secret message that even Bors doesn't get. Like it's
Mhm.
just like, these are your instructions. I'm not going to let you even know your instructions.
Yeah.
And then he sends him off to basically to his room to change. And do you remember what Bors's not dark friend job is?
Oh my goodness. It's too early to not be knowing all these answers. I guess not doing the Lord's work.
Well, they're definitely not doing the Lord's work, although
Not
pretend
the Dark Lord's maybe.
yes. But okay, in at the end of the chapter or at the
Yeah.
end of the prologue, he puts on his outfit and he's a white cloak.
Mm.
Which I think is the reason that they were saying like you got to be doing your good works because the
Mhm.
white cloaks are they purport to be
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Which is interesting and is a complete contrast because if I'm not mistaken, here from the notes, I think when he first met with everybody, they were all in dark cloaks, right?
Yep.
So that's interesting. It's like he puts on his mask as he walk. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And the white cloaks, of course, like I mean, I don't like the white cloaks reading the book, they hate the Aes Sedai and whatever,
Mhm.
but they purport to be doing the work of the light. And so the fact that he is a white cloak is kind of important,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay. And then the other thing I will show you, just because we got into this from the beginning. Oh, I shouldn't have shut it down because they're just so cute. I'm going to show you Todd's drawing from this. You can check this out. God, I love
Okay.
Todd's drawings. So that, this would be the man who calls himself Boris, all hidden up, and all the rest of them out there drinking their wine. Oh, do you remember these people? These people here.
Uh-oh. I do not.
It's not important if you don't, but they were the servants who were serving everybody, and they were really creepy. Like he describes that they're all really beautiful, but there's like no light in their eyes. Like they're
Yeah.
not. Yeah, it was
This one girl has
creepy.
eyes like Ragnar Vikings, those blue ones.
Oh yeah, yes. Like you mean her?
Yeah, her. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
This is
this
a
is
dope
Todd
drawing. He
draws.
always does a really good job.
It's so cute. It's so cutely evil. So yeah, you can check out Todd draws. I know he's on Twitter, but I think he's also on Blue Sky. I mean, I know he's on Blue Sky, but I'm assuming his account's the same. I should have looked it up so I could be sure to shout him out. But you should all be following Todd draws if you like the Wheel of Time, because he's doing literally every single chapter of the books.
Every single chapter, man. That's some good work. Shout out Todd, man. Shout out Todd.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, that's all my thoughts from the prologue. The prologue is like I was gonna say infamous. It's like it's obviously evil, but like it's loved. It's beloved in the Wheel of Time just because it's so creepy.
Yeah.
The way they say his name every single time. The man who calls himself Boris. Like
Well, I'm listening to the audiobook with Rosamund Pike's narration. I mean, I said it last time. Golly, she what a talented woman. What a talented woman. I don't know.
Really is.
In between the time of watching Wheel of Time, I also watched Gone Girl.
Yes.
Why is she so good at being bad?
Yeah, she is.
Rosamund Pike, I don't know if you ever watched this. You are a talented woman, but my goodness, you scare me sometimes.
I don't know if you had this thought watching Gone Girl, because I had this thought watching The Wheel of Time after having seen Gone Girl. Oh, is she going to be typecast as someone who slits people's throats while they're in the middle of grown-up activities? Because she does that in both shows.
And you know what's crazy? I was trying, and this is what I have to do. I have to have separation from the actor or actress in one series from the next. Because I see it's like I'm starting to like her character a little bit more on Wheel of Time, although I feel like she should, let people know what she's thinking more than she does. And then I go watch Gone Girl. And it's like, I know she was like that. I know that's what she's gonna do to somebody on Wheel of Time. I'm trying to give it up, y'all. But then now I bring that back into the book reading, right? And then I see how well she narrates evil people, and I'm like, so you do got that in you.
She got that dog in her, yeah.
Hey, man. Something.
Yeah, no.
But yes, I was listening to her narration, and hearing her narrate that portion of it was pretty cool, because what it ends up doing at the beginning when we were going over the Eye of the World together, we were getting character perspective switches as we got later into the book, from Perrin to Egwene to other people to Matt to different people like that. And then now in this book, when we get a dark friend's perspective or conversation, at first it was scaring me, wondering whether or not they were going to kill a character off. And now it's more interesting to me, because now I feel like I'm getting a more well-rounded view of the world. So I do like the prologue a lot.
Yeah, definitely. That's the other thing that the prologue does, actually. Yeah, it's really, really. Her son won a Mandarin speaking contest.
I didn't mean to throw you off what you were thinking, but I had to pull this up. So all right, that it runs in the family. Then I see.
Yeah,
that's pretty
cool.
dope.
That's really cool. Yeah, her Pride and Prejudice is also very good. But yeah, the other thing that the prologue does, while like I think it does it really subtly, very, very well, is it does introduce parts of the world that you haven't heard of yet. Like
Yes.
there's mention of things like the sea folk, or these people are wearing this
Yeah.
clothes. So they're obviously from, and like, you're probably not picking it up your first time around, but definitely when you reread, because I mean, obviously I've reread these books, like that. Those of us who are big time fans become a little, because it is those little hints.
Yeah.
Like there's mentions of things in this prologue that mean nothing to you, that when you go back, you're like, oh, he mentioned this in book 2. Like there's
Yeah.
there's a little bit of that. Like,
Actually,
so
just hit on something I meant to ask you.
mm,
For everybody here, this is obviously my first read
mm.
of the Wheel of Time series in general, and for the Great Hunt, specifically as we're covering. What number read is this for you?
That's a really hard question to ask or answer, I
About
should say.
in the ballpark of, rather than
Of these, okay, of the early books, I would say we're in like 20 something. Because what would happen, like I picked up the books for the first time in probably the late 90s. Yeah. And so I read them the first time, and then every time a new book came out, I would go back and reread it again and reread it again and reread it again. So I think I picked up the books probably by book 7, and there's
book
15.
7.
So yeah.
Okay.
And I read them every time a new book came out. I would reread them, but I also would reread them sometimes just
Yeah.
because I wanted to read the story again, and there was no other way to read the story. Like there was no show or
I
anything.
got you.
So
That makes sense.
but
If anybody in the chat has Jenny beat on 20 reads, please drop
okay,
a comment and let me know. 20
but that's
reads is crazy.
that's only the first like 6, maybe 7. Like once you get to like the final 3 books, I can actually give those a number. I've read them 3 times. I've only read the final books 3 times, like the final 3 books that were written by Brandon Sanderson. So, yeah.
But you know what's crazy? I asked if anybody else in the chat, and of course, this person's name also starts with Jenny as well. So are all the Jennies out here just like they just binge these books? Shout out Jennifer Bowles, who said, "Yeah, I've lost count too, but yeah, probably 15 to 20 for books 2 for me also." That's crazy.
Yeah. I have a picture, like some of you might have seen my channel. I've done reactions and stuff with my sister. I have a picture, not the sister that's actually I've done reactions with, my other sister, holding one of the Wheel of Time books, and she's just like looking at it going, why is it so big? Like that's when she was maybe 7
For
reading
visual,
those
this
books.
is y'all, this is the Great Hunt, the paperback version, if you want to see the thickness. I would say it reminds me of like a double, like a McDouble. You know what I'm saying? If you add a little bit more lettuce and bacon to it, that's about the thickness size of it. No, not a McDouble. That's disrespect. No, a McDouble. I'll say McDouble. I know that's like the weirdest. It's the weirdest probably comparison to a book ever. But if y'all wanted to know thickness wise, if you're about to take a bite out of it, that's what it is.
I thought you were going to say like double of another book, but no, it had to be something that's going to bite.
I'm sorry. I think that's my stomach speaking. I'm hungry, but I do think that was my stomach speaking.
Yeah. All right. Those are my main thoughts from the prologue. Do you have any other thoughts before we move on to the next chapter?
Nah, I'm super excited. Every time starting up a book for me, especially if there's a gap, it does take me. I don't know if anybody else is like this as well, and me specifically, because I cover a lot of content, so I have to exit a universe and put my mind back into another one. So it probably did take me about 2 or 3 minutes to like, okay, all right, back with the time. But that's some other just like initial thoughts and feelings that I had. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, so chapter 1. Oh, I'm just realizing I didn't put the titles of the chapters, but okay, I just have chapter 1 without the title. But okay, I'll show you the chapter icon. I should probably just leave it up and tell you to take it down once I get it down. But the chapter icon for chapter 1 is just this. It's the same chapter icon as the prologue.
Add what we're covering now, and then I'll also add.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
no problem.
So it's just that. It's not particularly exciting because it's literally the same one as in the prologue. But chapter 1 is basically the Rand Matt fight. They're practice fighting on top of the tower, and then while they're practice fighting, something weird happens with Rand. Do you remember what happened there?
Oh, the breeze, like the little
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, the wind pushes him basically into Rand, and or sorry, into Land's practice sword, and it was really weird, and
Mm-hmm.
Land thinks that he just messed up in the practice there. And but then they end up just having a conversation. Basically Rand finds out that his sword is a power wrought sword made by the Aes Sedai. This is something that the Aes Sedai promised never to do ever again. And then there's a talk of why Rand has stuck around. Thoughts on that? Like, do you remember why Rand said he stuck around?
I know there's this big thing about him wanting to stay close to his friends and things of that nature, which he does a 360 on kinda here in a minute. But outside of that, I think that was pretty much what I deem to be the issue is him just wanting to not necessarily say goodbye to his friends just yet. But I think that's
Yeah.
the hardest part because you see him internally dealing with the fact that he also feels like he's dangerous to
Yeah.
others around him too. So yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely a part of it. What he says though is the reason that he's sticking around
Mhm.
is because Moraine basically has started ignoring him. So like he's
Yes.
like she told me I'm the most important person in the world. She's told me I'm the dragon, and now she's not paying attention to me. And
Yeah, I do, yeah.
yeah, which I probably shouldn't do this, but it's within our 5 chapters. Later on, when Moraine is talking to Swan, she's like, the way that I've gotten him to stay is by ignoring him
That is
because
so crazy.
he's
That's why,
stubborn.
that's
Yeah, but like
y'all see why she gets on my nerves sometimes? It's like, man, and it's not even it's intentional too, though. It's
yeah.
intentional. Oh man, but yes, I do remember reading that later on, and I was like, see, I knew you knew what you're doing, and you know why you're doing it.
Yes, but I like I think it's
Uh-huh.
clever. Because she's not actually controlling him. She's not actually like
Oh
saying
man,
you
yeah,
got to stay. But she's like, I know his personality. It's like
yeah,
I know his. It's like what you do when I don't know. If like I work with kids, like when I got
yeah,
kids and I want them to do something, but I don't want to like be bossy about it. I'll be like,
yeah.
okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to do A or B? And I make
Uh-huh.
B really terrible so that they choose A. And
I
so like,
I feel like
yeah.
Moraine went to school for psychology. She just didn't tell everybody about that. I
Yes,
think she
that
had
was
that
her
in her
major.
bag.
That was her
That
major.
was her major. Outside of
Yes.
witchcraft related things and other things, I think psychology might have been one of them. I think she majored in psychology, minored in like witchcraft and ice and that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, because like it's really, really like because from his perspective, she hasn't done anything to him.
Uh-huh.
All she's done is been like, "Hey, you're the dragon. All right, I'm going to do my business." He's like, "Wait," and then he won't
Yeah,
leave her. So,
yeah.
so yeah,
I think the
yeah,
biggest question is like, what level of understanding of people do you have to go through to be so proof positive that a plan like that is gonna work and it just
yeah,
doesn't backfire the other way? Because when people get
exactly.
in their heads, they're like, "Oh, well, forget him. I don't need him." But it's like it's funny how she knows things.
Yeah, no, she's managing him, and she's managing him pretty well. And then at the end of this chapter, the Amerlin seat arrives
Mhm.
basically, and Lan is like, okay, like if you were gonna leave, it's too late now. The Amerlin's here. Like, there's
Yeah,
no way they're gonna let you leave. So that's pretty much what happens in
and
this
we get that
chapter.
announcement by the trumpets, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah. They see, yeah. So anything else stand out to you, or anything you want to talk about from this chapter?
The little breeze. I mean, since Rand made a lot of it,
Mm,
I I actually thought it was him, like, having, like a sputtering his own power and just didn't know that it was something that he was dealing with. Not that it was something from another source, which I guess we can get into a little bit later once he talks
mm-hmm.
about that. Because we see instances in the first book of him doing things that he really didn't know that he actually was responsible for.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
and then the other portion of it was like, bro, did you just have like a little anxiety attack up there or something? And you just wanted to mask it as like a gust of wind or something.
Right, right. Well, Land's explanation. I make. Oh, I can do quotes now. Look at this. See, I can
Okay.
do this.
All right.
Yeah, because I got hands. But Land's
What
explanation
happens
is
when you do like that? Or can you
it doesn't it what okay, my left hand, see, like that's pretty good. Oh,
we don't have any
yeah.
hold on. Let me make sure before you we don't have any kids here like 3 and under. I don't want them to get scared or
I,
terrified that
I,
Mommy,
my
her
left
hand went behind her head.
I know. My left hand tracks better than my right hand for some
That's
reason. Like
still
I can
super dope.
I know, I know.
Oh, you can
I want to
count
get
them. That's crazy.
yeah, but only with this hand. Like this hand won't. And I want to get gloves, so it's even better, but
Mhm.
they are expensive. So, so yeah. But yeah, Land's explanation is just weird things happen next to the blight, like because that's what they're close up to the blight.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, but I mean that's not really an explanation. That's just nothing. So
Mhm.
what do you think happened? Like, do you think that Rand did it himself, and like by accidentally using the power, or
I don't know. This theory could be way out there
mm,
because I know like Moraine and them like play a lot and test things. And
mm,
then obviously I'm coming from watching the show too, so I know like the Emerald Sea does have an interest in him.
mm.
So sometimes I don't know if there's like these little homing Aes Sedai things they do to track and see
Oh,
how people interact with certain energies or stuff like that. So I
yeah,
thought it
yeah,
might have been something like that since the Emerald Sea and them are coming into town that they just put out. I don't even know how to describe it, but like little
yeah,
tracking
yeah.
things for other people who have the one power, men specifically, who have it. So that's what I thought it might have been.
Okay,
Obviously
okay,
Rand didn't know what to perceive it as, and I thought took it as either him just not knowing his own power or the Aes Sedai in town, and one of them is like tracking him.
yeah, okay. I will say nothing, but okay, that's an interesting theory. That's an interesting theory. Okay. The other thing that I just put in my notes because I wanted to see if you remembered this or knew what they were. When they talk about the sword that Rand has a sword that's
Yes.
very special. Like it's not just well, do you remember what a heron mark is? Because they don't really talk about this in the show very much, but we talked about this last time, but it's been like 2 years. So if you don't remember, I would
Is this still
understand.
chapter one or is this chapter two?
Chapter one. Chapter
Chapter
one.
one. I remember the heron mark blade and them talking about it in regards to are you asking what does the heron represent? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, it's been 2 years. They do mention it, but
Two
I
is
I,
crazy.
I, was, I wasn't expecting you to remember. The heron means that you are what's called a blade master.
Mhm.
So like you are really really good with swords, which basically means Rand's dad is a blade master because Rand like it's just Rand's dad's sword, so he
Mhm.
doesn't really know how to sword fight. But what's special about like aside from being a heron mark, which is in itself special,
Yeah.
what's special about Rand's sword is that it was made with the one power, so it will
Yes.
never get dull or anything. Yeah, it's like a black belt. Sorry, just seeing what Danny Schmel says there. But it's like I would say more exclusive than a black belt because I have students who are like 9 who are black belts. But
A
you know,
9-year-old black belt.
yeah, in
Crazy.
Taekwondo. So yeah, but so a one power wrought sword will never get dull. You never need to sharpen it or anything. It will just basically last for
Uh-huh.
well virtually ever. But the Aes Sedai, the reason that's incredibly rare is because the Aes Sedai don't do this anymore
Mhm.
because of their 3 oaths. Do you remember what their 3 oaths were again? Again, if you don't, like it's been 2 years. Although they talk about it in the show a bit, but I don't know.
They they do. Let me see if I can look at the screen and see if I can Google it without you knowing what I'm doing. What is it? Nah,
I
I'm not
might
gonna do
do
it.
you hear any clackety
I
clacks?
don't know. Like, see, like I'm gonna tell you what's messing me up right now. In
Mm,
these first 5 chapters, Leandrin is messing me up because now I'm thinking the only
yes.
O's involve like getting rid of men, like a lower high, gentling a man, smacking a man in his face. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Leandrin
What?
is she made
No,
me forget what the 3 O's are.
yes.
I'm blaming that one
Okay.
on Leandrin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The 3 O's. The first one is to speak no word that is not true, which I always
Okay.
have to be careful with because I always want to
Mm-hmm.
say oath is not to lie, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not the oath. The oath is not to lie. It's to speak no word that is not true. So you can
Okay.
lie as long as you don't
Speaking a word
do
that
it.
is not true.
Yeah, you can say as long as you lead. You choose your words carefully. The second one is to uh not use the one power, like to never make one weapon which with a
Yes.
man can kill another man. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why his sword is so rare. The Aes Sedai will not use their power to make weapons, and then to not use the one power as a weapon except against dark friends or shadow spawn or that sort of thing. So they can't, like, if an Aes Sedai is mad at you or like they think you're bad, they can't just punch you in the face with the power. They can punch you in the face with their hand, but they can't use the
Yeah.
one power. They can't use the one power to do it unless they think you're a dark friend or you're a shadow spawn.
Which that
So
like
that's
that's like a and we'll talk about that as we go. Unless
mm,
they think you're dark friend, that seems like that's too much room for you getting away with stuff.
Oh, yes, yes.
Wh-
Or in defense of a sister or warder. That's the other exception. So they
okay.
can use the one power to defend themselves or to defend their warder or defend a sister. But yeah, okay, I will grant, yes, it does give room, but they do have to actually believe it. They can't just be like, Adison's
Mhm.
looking kind of sus. So here we go. Like they actually have to believe that you're
I feel you,
sus.
but can't people like control the type of signals they give off for like the lie detector test to be able to pass certain things like that too?
Okay, we're dealing. Yes, you're right. But
So I sit
the
down another level, right? I'm gonna give them a
yes,
little
because
bit more.
I could say because it's the magic system. It's the same like in season
Yeah.
2. You remember with Egwene not being able to touch the picture as long as she believed it was a weapon.
Oh yeah, the
It's that
demone.
kind of
So,
thing.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's
I
that
got
like
you.
it's the magic thing. It somehow the magic knows your intentions.
Got you.
So
And
the
we
magic
see is and
knows.
we see is
Yeah,
pretty strong too within the show with Seancin
yeah,
and Moraine when she
yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah, exactly. So that's that. That's pretty much all I have. I'm now looking at the comments because we got some book readers in the comments. Anything
uh-oh.
else from chapter 1 that I should be talking about that I missed? 'Cause
Let me
just
know. Yeah, in the
people,
comments too. If y'all feel like it's some big
yeah,
ones that y'all want to hear discussed, man, drop that in the comments again for chapter 1. And we
yeah,
might can do a we can probably like as we go through the chapter, we can do we forgot to say, and then potentially if you see some good ones, we can go back and highlight a comment or something like that. So
exactly.
um
Because I just read, yeah, somebody already brought something up in the comments, and I was like, oh yeah, I should have mentioned that. So yeah. Okay. That's it. I don't see anybody else talking about chapter 1. So let's
okay.
move on to chapter 2. And if you have the
Chapter
title
2
beside it, the
is the
welcome.
welcome. Mhm.
Okay. Let me, okay, yeah, you can put up oh, wait, no, let me show you this image. Okay, put
Okay.
up Todd draws. Yeah, put it up.
All right, let's check out Todd draws. 1 second, y'all.
Sorry, we're
Pulling
not
it up.
as tightly organized as we were the first time. It's more loose.
There we go.
So, yeah, that's Rand
I'll
and
remove the banner for a
Lan.
second.
Rand and Lan doing their practice swords. I like that he drew in Lan's abs. Oh, they also drew in Rand's
Yeah, yeah.
abs here at Todd draws. It's so cute.
Obviously, Rand looks a little bit more distressed though. He has the little sweat coming down his eye. And why does it look like
Yes.
Land's hand is in his pocket?
It's
And like it's just easy work.
exactly. Because Rand's still learning,
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, that's it. Anyway,
that's
so
dope.
so cute. Check out Todd draws. Sorry, I do love it. I don't know if you remember season 1. There is a scene where Rand
Oh, I remember.
pulls
I
a sword.
remember. I
Yeah,
remember. They
he
had
pulls a
the eye candy scene. Is that what you're talking about?
oh no. But I was gonna say the scene from season 1.
Oh,
Rand pulls out a sword on Lan, and Lan pulls out a finger, and Lan wins. Lan like
okay. My fault. I thought you were talking about the moment where he was hit president, and I was like, all right, why is this scene lasting like 30 seconds long? Oh, because he got his shirt out, and he's all
yeah,
right, I
yeah.
get
They,
it.
they hired Daniel Henney. They're going to make use of the resources they have. Like that's just
Hey, am I supposed to say anything? No, do what you do best. Just sit there, flex, and what I'm saying, pull the sport out very slow.
exactly. Exactly. All right. Okay, let's move on to chapter 2.
Mhm.
So chapter 2, basically, it's right after basically Lan has said, hey, if you were going to leave, it's too late now because the Amerlin's here, and Rand basically takes off. And he goes to his room and he finds that Moraine has replaced all of his clothes. So she's replaced them like with really, really fancy clothes.
Yes.
And without asking. And the Faldaran staff, because that's where they are, they're in Faldara, basically are like, and you need to give us the clothes that you're wearing too. Do you remember this? This is a bit of an awkward scene.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
because I think he felt like somebody's about to walk in on him or something like that, or they were
Mhm.
attempting to.
Yeah.
Actually, this brings me a quick random question, real quick about this particular
Mm,
scene. If you had your favorite outfit on, right, and
mm.
then somebody took that and gave you a more expensive, nice outfit, would you be
No.
upset or would you be like your favorite outfit though? Even if you've worn it a few times, but it's your favorite out, like it might be your go-to outfit. They
Yeah,
took
yeah.
that and replaced it with some newer clothes. How
No,
would
I'd
you
be
feel about
upset.
that?
I'd be
You'd be
real
hot?
upset.
Yeah,
I'd be
okay.
hot.
All right.
Yeah, that's my clothes. You don't get to just come in and take even like you pulling out something that's got holes in it. You're like,
Yeah.
no, you ask me. Ask me.
I
Like,
got you. I got you.
yeah,
I was thinking the same thing. It's like,
yeah.
thank you, but no thank you. But I
Yes,
appreciate
like
you.
or like put them but it's like, you want to get me new clothes?
Yeah.
Sure, you can. If she had just put new clothes in next to his clothes, I'd be like, all
Yeah.
right, Moraine, that's nice. But she threw out his clothes.
We're not getting sponsored or anything for this particular brand, but it's always funny whenever we go on like family vacations, like people can easily spot out. It's like, you've been on Temu or Shein lately. Hey, you know, I ain't had this in my closet for like 3-4 months.
You don't know. Exactly. Okay, so yeah, the Foldarin basically, they're in his room basically saying, you have to give us your clothes, and they make a point of saying like your small clothes too, which is the Wheel of Time thing for underwear. And then they stand there and they're real funny about it, because in Faldara, I'm bringing this up for a reason, and not just because ha 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 naked. Nudity is not a big deal, especially like even between men and women. And the reason I'm bringing this up, do you remember the very first episode of season 1, Moraine, Lan, Hot Tub?
Brother Hot Tub. Yeah, that's how he got his name. That's how
he got his name.
It's because I
this
hear what
is
y'all
where
saying. I'm still not buying it though.
No, this is where Lan is from. So like when that happened in the show,
yeah,
there were some book readers who were like, why did they do this? This is the Lan's country. This is Lan's country. And they do talk about this in this chapter, how at bath time, they all go into the hot baths and nobody cares. Like men, women, nobody cares. So that scene in season 1 basically was hinting at this revelation about the culture that Lan grew up in. So,
and it's not, and I think the thing that, like, of course, like, I'm in America, you know, despite what Instagram, TikTok, and stuff may tell you, there's some level of modesty that you have to have when you go out in public. But you know, then when you watch these like series about different cultures and stuff, like you'll see different people in Africa, and it's like, Shadi does realize that she got the 2 gallons of milk just out, right? You know what I'm saying? She does realize that, you know, the 2% is showing right now, right? But then, like in other cultures, it seems like it's not that big of a deal to them. So it is. So in watching that and reading the book, I think sometimes I have to get out of the like the American mindset of thinking, just to kind of somewhat put myself in some of these people's shoes. But
I've had that experience here in Korea. Like Korean spas are famous, and Korean spas are not co-ed. Well, there's parts of them that are co-ed, but you're not naked in the co-ed spots. But I've been in situations where somebody's been tried to talk to me, because I stand out, like I'm a foreigner, and they'll be trying to talk to me, and I'll be like, you are naked, so I need you to put clothes on, because I can't talk to you right now. Like, I'm sorry. So I've had this situation.
Hey, somebody needs to talk to the old heads at the YMCA, because they still living like that. Man, geezers in there walking up to you with the andouille sausages. It's like, brother, I just came from hooping. I understand you got your workout in, but can you please put a towel on or something?
Please.
Why you ask me about my career choices right now with no towel on, brother?
Not an appropriate time, please. So, but yes, okay. So yeah, that's basically the main. The other note that I have from this chapter, Rand tries to leave. Like he goes off, tries to find a place to leave, and he finds out that there's been an order that nobody is allowed to leave. And the person who tells him that is like, oh, and the Amu's probably going to ask for you. So yay.
Yeah. But it's who they say the order comes from is what I was like slightly not believing though. Like
they said it came from,
they said it came from Algamar, brother Algamar, but it's like, I don't believe that it didn't come from his mouth, but whether or not it was forced to be put in his mouth is what has made me think of. So I do remember him saying that. But a part of me is like, Rand is like, you felt this coming a long time ago. This shows you how strong the tie Moraine has on him is. It's like, if you actually felt like this, that you should have left a long time ago, it's like you should have did it a long time ago.
You should have left a long time ago.
Shout out to Dana, one of the moms in the family. How you doing, Dana? Thank you for coming through.
Yeah, he should have left, but he didn't. So
that Moraine, the Moraine hold is crazy.
It is a tight hold, and like because if the book hadn't been very clear about the fact that she did this on purpose, I would be like, okay, like it's just her hold on him, but she is controlling him. But she's like, it's such a weird. She's controlling him by not like, if she had told him to stay, he probably would have left. Like if she'd been like, and I need you to stay close, he probably would have left. So she was like, I'm not going to say anything.
I agree.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on this chapter, or anybody in chat?
Talk to us
Yes,
in the chat.
sorry, not all wonders are lost. To always have clothes on while talking to Jenny. Yes, please. I would request that this be a general
You
anyway.
would think that goes without saying, right? But it's like,
You would think.
thank you for putting it out there in a message so that we can put it there. So it's in writing now.
Yes. Yeah.
Desi said it's mere manipulation on part of Moraine and Rand.
Moraine. Yeah. That's it. Anything else from chapter 2 that
not from chapter 2. I think the biggest takeaways that I have from that particular chapter is whether or not the order actually came from Algamar, and also the fact that you see the type of unity and control that they have, because they were not gonna let their brother ride out. They were not.
No,
There's no,
not at all.
there's
Yeah.
there's no leaving, regardless of how much we do or do not like it. You can tell that they take their order serious, which actually is funny, because sometimes, I'm not saying you do this, but me and Brandon the other day were talking about the difference between like employees and employers. It's like when it's your business, there's like certain things you won't slide, but if your employee's like, yeah, man, you want another milkshake? Here's 3 more milkshakes. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that they let you do. But in this realm, it seems like the unit was pretty much on the same page as whoever the higher up is, because of fear or because of just unity. So
Yeah. Well, the Faldara is a fortress, like, and they live right next to the Blight. Do you remember the Blight, right?
Oh, I can't forget the Blight, Jenny.
Yeah.
I can't forget that thing.
Figured as much. So like, yeah, the Blight is like where all the monsters live, basically. Like, and so if you live right up next to the Blight, you're gonna learn to be pretty disciplined. I imagine you're not gonna be like, just let people go out for picnics. It's fine. Like, it's gonna be like, no, if we say close the door, you close the door, because there could be a monster. Like, so
that's a fact.
I think, yeah, they're being.
Remember Uncle Terry, who went out to go, you know what I'm saying, beyond the gate? You know why Uncle Terry never came back? I only need to hear one of them stories.
Exactly. So okay, unless I don't think anybody. Okay, there we go. No comments in chat. Looks like something is missing. We can move on to chapter 3. I will show you the chapter icon.
Okay, cool.
Which is this one here.
Nice.
So this chapter icon is called the Flame of Tar-Valon, or the Tar-Valon, I think is what they say in the show, Tar-Valon, which often is the symbol of the Amyrlin seat, or even just the Aes Sedai. So there's that. And then if we just get into the chapter, basically it's Rand trying to find a way to leave, but he can't. Nobody will let him out, because as we said, it's a fortress and people are not going to be lazy about that. He does find Perrin, Mat, and Loyal, who are all playing with dice. Nobody will play with Loyal, which I always feel bad about, because they respect him too much, so they won't play with him. But then in my notes, I wrote this as Rand, Old Yeller's Perrin, Mat, and Loyal. Did you ever see Old Yeller?
That's the one with a dog. Like they have to shoot the dog because they don't have like rabies or something, right?
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of like cool stuff happened before that, but I can't remember. I just remember the dog had to get shot, right?
That's the only thing everybody remembers, because it's traumatic. But before that, like, he's trying to get the dog to go away so he doesn't have to kill it. He's like, run away, go. That's kind of what Rand does with Perrin, Mat, and Loyal. He's like, well, I'm better than you. I'm more important than you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because of that reason that we talked about. And then he finds Egwene, who he basically tells he's trying to escape, but he can't. So she's like, okay, well, I can hide you. The first place she tries to hide him is in the dungeons with Thane. And they get down there, and I'm sure Rosamund read this really well, where he like chants at them. Thane is a bit of a mess. He's like, soon comes the day all shall be free. Even you and even me. Soon comes the day all shall die. Surely you, but never I. Like,
that was a crazy line. But actually, before that, though, it threw me off, because remember, Egwene was saying that he was getting better, like he's getting more like himself. So when we came down there, I was expecting for the interaction to be like a little bit, hold on, why are you more normal? But no, as soon as they met him, it's like, oh nope, whatever Gwen was talking about, she must have came on a Monday, because this is definitely this is hump day here. This brother's not the same.
He's not doing well. It's super, super, super creepy. And he talks about himself kind of in the third person. He refers to himself as Mordeath. I'm curious to know if you remember. He's creepy. Do
Mm-hmm.
you remember Mordeath? Because it's
Yes.
again in 2 years. Yeah.
Because when it spelled like more death or something at first, and then I think when it sounded like more death. So I
Yes.
think, yeah, the names are
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes. Mordeath was like the person that they met in that Shadow City.
Mhm.
Who like then he I don't know. I remember you talked about this because Robert Jordan seemed to have a thing for people getting real. He grew really big and then he stretched out and he
Yeah.
went through a little crack in the wall. Anyway, so Fane uses that name to describe himself. Like he talks about himself like Mordeath knows, and it's creepy. He is
You
creepy, creepy,
saying that
creepy.
brother's possessed?
But that's what he does. I'm just saying that's what he does. I'm not saying anything. This is spoiler free zone, man.
I mean,
So,
they've already talked about reincarnation and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
mhm. Yep. Yeah. And then so Egwene, after this, makes a decision, that maybe the dungeons aren't a good place to hide. So I'm gonna hide you in the girls' dorm,
Yeah.
basically. And that's this chapter. So
Mhm.
that's it. We'll put up Todd's drawing and then we can see if there's anything else you wanted to.
For sure.
Oh, is that yeah.
Let's look at Todd draws again.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the Amerlin arriving.
That's dope.
Yeah. I think a little that's what her stole looks like in the books. It's got the 7 colors of the Ajas,
That's
and
dope.
yeah, he's so cute. Todd Jaws, check
That's
him
dope.
out. Yeah, yeah. So okay, so anything else? Like as you mentioned, Gwen said that she thought Fane
Yeah.
was getting better. Why
Yeah.
was she visiting him? Do you remember why she was visiting him?
Well, it was not because she got orders to. We find that out. At first, you think,
Yeah,
oh, they allowed you to, and it's like, hold on, they didn't allow you
no,
to, don't you? It's like you're becoming a real Aes Sedai out here in these streets,
they
aren't you?
they didn't specifically tell her not to.
Yes,
Is what they yes.
but it's funny because also and I'm just in my head imagining, okay, how did you get away with this? Because the Aes Sedai are so powerful. But then you think
Mhm.
about the fact that the men and the people have respect for the Aes Sedai too. So it's like if an Aes Sedai said, "Let me do this," what are you gonna say? Hey, did you check up with your other Aes Sedai about that?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
they wouldn't ask you to do that. I think the most interesting thing about this segment is the fact that Egwene also mentions that, hey, the guys, the gatekeeper people and the people they're normally a lot nicer than this. They normally joke around a little bit more. They're normally cooler than this. And then she also said the opposite about Fane. So I was thinking that maybe if Fane was getting better, that maybe some of that energy was transferring from him to the guards and trying to escape since Patton
Ah,
was locked up. That's what I thought was going on at first. But
okay.
yeah, so that was some of my other thoughts in regards to that. But then when Patton said, surely you should die, surely you not I was like, no, I think he's back. I
Yeah,
think he's
I was
back.
gonna ask you about that. Like, cause yeah, Egwene was like, yeah, even this guard used to be a nice guy, but he's being
Yeah.
weird now. And
And he also made a
Fane
joke about
is,
he also made a statement about the clothes too, which
yeah,
was another intentional stray that Rand got from Marine for getting him set up with new clothes. But he
yes,
also made a statement about his attire.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Just moving back a little bit, the Rand with Perrin, Matt, and Loyal, that scene.
Yeah.
Anything stand out from that scene there?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a quick random shout out to Hamigan. Yo, what's going on? Appreciate you for
Yo,
stopping in. Also
yeah,
got Kristen Nicole says, I was hoping that Adison would keep reading and y'all would do more of these. Yeah, these was a lot of fun. Glad to have Jenny back on this. The people have asked for it. I didn't know when it was gonna happen, but hey, we kicking it off. We're kicking it off tonight. So thank you for coming through.
yeah.
But now going back to the question about Rand, Perrin, and Matt. Um, it happens like this in a lot of shows I watch. The character actually loves or likes the people more than they know at the moment, so they say something mean to get them to leave, but really their intentions are better than they are. And it seems like if these are your friends, you would kind of like see through that a little bit better. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Rand definitely did turn jerked out in that moment in his attempt to pretty much tell them that they're not significant or important, or yada 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 yada. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, loyal, which as much wisdom as he has, it seemed like I thought he would have saw through that a little bit
I
better.
know. But Loyal is in like a foreign Ogier, he's basically a teenager. So he's got
Yeah,
wisdom, but he's also, he's not
yeah,
too hasty kind of thing. But
yeah.
I will say it hurt me the most Every time it hurts me the most that he does this to Loyal more than
Yeah.
Raren and Matt. Just Loyal he's so pure.
Hey,
He's so pure.
I thought Lloyd was about to put hands on him at first.
He got
He said
angry.
Rand, so
Yeah.
he got angry. I said, hey, this is what I've been waiting to see right here. Even if we got to test it out on Rand, I want to see something. I want to read something or listen to something. You know what I'm saying? Because the audiobook. Let me see something real quick.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. It felt bad. It felt bad. So I saw a comment. It gets scroll up a bit to see it, but where somebody's saying, "I don't even know why Egwene is talking to Fane because she's got
right
other people. Yeah, she's got other people from the Two Rivers that she could talk to. So, just what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. That's a good point. It's she does, but maybe she doesn't feel like she does though. To the fullest degree, because now that she's an Aes Sedai, it's like. And I'm not trying to compare these two too much, but have you ever went to college and they had friends that have joined like a fraternity? And it's like,
yeah,
I guess I'm still your boy, but I'm not like your boy no more.
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, and the people could potentially feel like that with her. I know Rand feels like that some because he makes some little shots about her being an Aes Sedai and well, yeah, what would they do? Or why would I go up there? Or things of that nature. So I think it's just kind of like that. I think it could be like a trauma thing too. It may not even be that she likes Fame, but like you want answers from the person who brought such atrocities and violence and to your town. So it's like a weird dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't want to talk to him, I think it's just that need to have an understanding. Sometimes that drives you.
I could fully see that. I do want to point out because I think what's happening is you are mixing some of the show in the books. Egwene is not an Aes Sedai yet. She hasn't even been to the White Tower yet in the books. In the show, So in the books, what she has done is made it clear that she wants to be an Aes Sedai. Like Rand is unreasonably angry that she's taken out her braid because that's a huge thing in the Two Rivers. But her taking out her braid is like a sort of a symbol of no, I'm no longer from the Two Rivers now. I want to be an Aes Sedai. Like it's a weird thing, but yeah.
Thank you for show book stopping me right there. Hey, I love it. I love it when they're like, Adison, you're not gonna get on here and act like you don't want to spoil other people to spoil you, but sit up here and spoil others. We're not gonna do that. Yeah, that's what we just call a legit Jenny smack on the wrist right there, y'all. I just got it live.
I was so gentle about it. Come on.
Oh, you bringing up gentling people now? Is that what we're doing? That's crazy. That's crazy. The word choice is insane, y'all.
I was kind, but no, just like you, because I think you are right that part of what he's reacting or what people might be reacting to is her making very clear what her allegiances are.
Yeah,
like it's taking out the braid is very like I'm trying to think of what an equivalent would be for our culture. I have no idea, but like she's made a very very obvious visual cue. I don't really care about the Two Rivers so much anymore. So they might be pulling back from her because she's done that. And she's like, no, I do still love the Two Rivers. So she's going to go to talk to Fane. Because that would be my guess.
I got you.
What's going on. Yeah. But that's it. So then at the end, she decides to hide him in the women's apartments. Which, nobody will look for him there because, it's the women's apartments.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also just checking comments to see if anybody thinks there's anything else from this chapter I should mention, or is there anything else from this chapter you?
And this is chapter 3. This is chapter 3, right?
Chapter 3, yeah.
Chapter 3, friends and enemies.
Friends and enemies, yeah. Basically, it's the Fane is creepy chapter, is what it is. So, yeah.
His switches. His switch is different.
Yeah, he is okay. That actually is a question I do have for you as a show person. In the show, Fane, in the show, Fane looks really creepy, but he doesn't act like this. So, what are your thoughts on just how the show is portraying him?
I'll say this. In the book, he seems more like an enslaved evil minion. In the show, he seems like more of an intellectual, bigger picture minion. It's like still a minion, but it's like they're two different levels. is the best way I can describe it. And then also sometimes the way that they describe him in the book makes him seem like he's more of a person, and he
Yeah.
actually has, you could see him as a good guy. Whereas in a book, I don't know if it's because the casting is just how he acts. It's like,
Yeah.
ain't no way this dude was ever a good dude. I'm talking about out the
Yeah.
womb, he was just a demon.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious about that. I can't really get into it, obviously, because I don't want to say anything. But I'm just because the portrayal is very different, and I know I have thoughts, but I can't tell you my thoughts. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We can move on to chapter 4 here.
Chapter 4.
Yes. And oh,
Called
chapter.
Summoned, right?
Oh my goodness! I think I gave you the wrong. I'm behind on. Okay, so this is the chapter icon. Okay, open it
Let's
up.
pull it up.
Yeah. This is the chapter icon for chapter 3. I'm 2 chapters behind on showing you this. So this is the chapter we just talked about.
Okay. Oh,
And
let me push the
then
banner. So that was for 3. So in
yes,
case anybody's looking, this one right here is for 3.
that's for 3. So it's the ruby dagger because he was talking to Matt.
Nice.
And this would be him being real mean to Loyal, and that makes me sad. So look how big he is. I love it. I absolutely love it. And look at them, they're playing dice in the background. There's Perrin and Matt. It's great. Okay. And then this would be the chapter icon for chapter 4. So
Summoned.
this is the horn of Valier.
Like a little trombone looking thing.
Yeah. This is how I pictured the horn in the books. Like it's like an old-timey trumpet. And then the show horn looked very, very different from that.
That's
so so this chapter is from Moraine's point of view.
Yeah.
So we're in her head, and Anaya and Leandrin come to her room, but they can't come in because it's warded. And they're all like, "Hey, why is it warded against us?" And she's like, "It's warded against everybody, not just you." And then she leaves, so they don't come in. So
the lie truths are crazy.
Yeah, see, it's speak no word that is not true. It's not a lie.
Yeah,
she didn't lie.
And I think her excuse is that she said there's a lot of other girls who may be curious about us and that woman, and they may come in the room, and it's like, yeah, okay, this is locked for Leandrin.
Well, Leandrin wasn't there before, but she just locked it against everybody.
Like Leandrin. As a matter of fact, it's locked for Leandrin in general. She could pull up at any moment. I just keep it locked for that reason.
That's true. If there was a Leandrin in my life, yes, I would have that too. This lock is specifically for you all the time. But while they're walking, they talk about these 3 false dragons that have just shown up. And while they're walking, this part just makes me laugh. It's not particularly important, but Moraine sees Egwene and Rand sneaking around, and she's just like, "Oh, good job." Like she's real proud of Egwene. And I just think it's so because Egwene thinks she's being real sneaky and that nobody will know. And Moraine immediately finds immediately. So, but she's proud of her. She's like, "Oh, good job. Okay, cool." Then they talk about Andor and Queen Morghese and how things are not looking so good for Queen Morghese. They talk about Elaine. She's now in the tower. This chapter is a lot of like basically filling out the world through this conversation. There's fighting happening in Almouth Plain and Toman Head, which if you go back to the prologue, Toman Head is where the White Cloaks were told to keep doing their good works.
Yes.
So something is happening in Almouth Plain and Toman Head. And they meet up with a bunch more Aes Sedai. The only 2 I'm going to mention, just because you will know their names from the show, are Varen and Alana. So you remember Alana's the green one who has the 2 warders. You know Alana.
Miss get busy. You know.
Yes.
2 is more than 1.
My sister saw when my sister saw that, she's like, "Oh, she's living her best life." That was her reaction. Like, oh,
everybody's descriptions are great.
Yes. And then Varen is the brown Aja, not the doo-doo Aja. She's the brown Aja.
Hey, you know what's funny? I forgot about it, but I'm glad you reminded me. Doo-doo Aja 2025.
No. That's what shouldn't have done that.
I legit forgot about that. If we want to get away from Doo-doo Aja and go Dookie Aja, we can do that. We can, you know what I'm saying, make it. I'm playing. Let's keep going.
They're the scholars. They're the scholars. Anyway, but they basically just have another more
Yeah.
conversation about the politics in the world that's going on. And then Swan, yes, yes, okay. Swan basically says that she and Moraine want to, they need to talk privately, kicks everybody
Mhm.
out of the room, and then they hug, and it's revealed that they are really good friends, have been working together for years. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically it. Yeah.
So I had some thoughts about this one, because obviously it doesn't affect the storyline. I don't know. It may or may not. And I'm actually pulling up my
Mm,
notes to see because I heard Moraine refer to her as like my dearest friend. And
mhm,
also they also talk about the fact about they could have been like a village wife or something like that.
yeah.
And what I was curious to know is in the show, it's revealed that they actually have like an intimate relationship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whereas in the book, I did hear them mention the word like closet or something like that. But in the book, it seems like they just have like a girlfriend relationship. A girlfriend like
Mm.
it's just like their girl,
His friends. Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
friends.
yeah.
And they actually oftentimes speak of the opposite sexes. It's like, yeah, this could have been the life, but yeah, it doesn't.
Mm,
I don't know if this is something that gets revealed further in the other books, or if this is how their relationship actually is in the book, and this is a difference between show to book. I guess that was my only
mm.
question.
Okay.
Or is that a spoiler?
Ah, I'm looking to Kate to see what she wants me to say or not. I actually have a whole video where I talk about this. Um, but from what you're seeing in this chapter, it does look different. Like this chapter, they're alone. They've
Oh,
literally
they say
warded.
spoiler territory, so
Okay, yeah, they're so what you're seeing in this chapter, they're completely alone. The room is warded, so
okay.
nobody can hear.
Yeah, I
So
remember
if they
saying
were
that, yeah.
going right, so if they were going to do something else, they could have. Nobody
Yeah.
else would know,
Yeah,
right? So
and
you could
that's
draw
what
that,
made me
yeah.
think because in the show they did
Mhm.
go to another level,
Yeah,
whereas
yeah,
here it's like, "Oh, these are just 2 ladies who are just, like, good friends."
yeah,
So I think that was interesting, to think about because
yeah.
it didn't seem like they would speak about some of the other situations from, like, a wife or, also from the standpoint of being or
I mean,
particularly to, like, some village man, and then
I was just gonna
also
say they literally bring that up. They
yeah.
specifically said we've had thoughts about one day we could meet a man who will
Yes.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
obviously with the life that they have now, it's because of the power and things of that nature that they have to tap into. It's steered them away from that type of
yeah.
life.
Well,
It
it's not
seems.
even it's not even the power that they did it. That like this is actually almost the same as the show. It's
Mhm.
not that they have the one power that steered their life away. It's the fact that they have been on a mission for 20 years to find the dragon. So
Yeah.
they've had no time for anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah. I have a spoiler-free video that you can watch about this where I talk about why I think the show, whether or not this happens in the books, I won't
Okay.
say, but I think that doing what they did heightened the stakes for them.
Okay.
Like they're
I'll have to check
I
that
that's
video out.
yeah, I think like it's a case of for some reason, and whether you think this is true or not,
Mhm.
this is a thing that I see in all of media. Romantic relationships are seen as being more strong than friendship. Like just basically the thought of like if
But it
you have
also makes
your
betrayal worse too.
yes, exactly. It
It makes
heightens
betrayal
everything.
worse, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it heightens everything. So I think
yeah.
that that might have been
It
the
turns
reason.
a "why would you" into a "how could you."
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So I that's what I think. That's my inference for why that would
Mhm.
have happened in either the books or the show.
Yeah.
So yes, that's
But yeah,
oh,
I think
just
so
checking my
also going
notes.
into
Yeah.
this is interesting because Sianton also speaks about the fact that oh yeah, well one of the other Aes Sedai, she's like, yeah, she don't even talk to me like a normal person anymore. I think now
Mhm.
since I got the
Yes,
power. So
she
that was
fully says
interesting, I
that.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
like she's Leanne, or Liana, I think is how I can't remember how they pronounce it in the show. But yeah, Liana is very into formalities, and she's like,
but it's like
which,
it's like I feel both sides though.
yeah,
And let me
yeah,
explain, it's like the manager who reprimands you at work, but then expects to
yep,
go kick it and go bowling with you after work. It's like, bro, you just wrote
ex-
me up. Like, what you mean that
exactly,
we still gonna go bowling night? It's like, bro, you just wrote me
Exactly.
up.
Exactly. The teacher or like, but it's as a teacher, there'll be kids who like try to be too friendly. Like, okay, now look,
Mhm.
there's a line where you can't cross and stuff. But I do also understand Swan's desire to have somebody just treat her like a human because
Yeah,
she's still a human. Like
true.
it's like it again reminding me of season 1 where
Mhm.
Moraine comes into what we lovingly call the love shack and calls her mother, and Swan's like, oh, I hate it when you call me that. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
don't do that, don't do that.
yeah.
So yeah, okay, let me show you the art Todd's
All right.
drawing from here.
Brother Todd
Oh,
back at it again. Let's see what he's whipped up.
yeah, now I somebody did comment on how Todd is using the ethnicities from the show to the books. He had drawn this before the show had cast a Varen. So the Varen from the show is, I think, South Asian heritage.
Mhm.
But I just love this because, yeah, this is how I imagine Varen. She's got ink stains on her face
She
because she's
got
just
punched in
looking
the
at
mouth,
Flint.
didn't she?
No, it's ink.
On her
She-
face?
yeah, because she's probably writing and then rubs her face and
Um,
then she's drawing plants and like, yeah, that's Varen. I just,
it's a dope drawing.
yeah,
I like how he
okay.
has the separation with the white borders too to like pop the characters more. And then I like the little light ray that comes from the side to make it
Yeah.
look like she's being illuminated with a window or sun or something. That's dope.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good. So okay, that's that's my notes on chapter 4. Now there's a
Yep.
lot that is talked about in this chapter.
Yes.
Especially like about the dragons that are popping up and stuff. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, I guess also the small portion we didn't talk about is the fact that she talked about Rand and how she's going to like shun him or make it seem like she's not interested in what her plans for him were. And then now we go to the plans for Matt and Perrin about the horn traveling.
Yes.
So
Now
that's like
that's actually the next chapter. Sorry, I know. That's we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Don't worry. Yeah.
that was my
because this
fault.
chapter
That was the I've been watching Game of Thrones. That was the three-eyed raven of me talking right there. My fault,
exactly
yo.
exactly. The main conversations that happened in this chapter happened before that about the 3 false dragons that have come up
Yeah,
in this year, and then in the previous, I think, 2 years there were 3 others.
got
And
you.
do you remember why they think that's happening?
About the new
Why
proclamation
there's
of different
suddenly,
dragons.
yes, yeah, why it's because they didn't used to happen like this. Why it's constantly
I forgot
happening?
I forget the rationale. I think once you say it, I'm gonna remember it. But I forget the rationale about why they say it's an uprising and people claiming to be.
Yeah. Well, okay. In this chapter, they don't say, so probably I should wait for that. But like,
Okay.
basically, in this chapter, they talk about like this is crazy. Like, it's just a crazy thing that's happening about Brandon.
Man, the three-eyed raven Game of Thrones reference, and I was like, all right, this is Brand. That's what they
Okay. Oh,
appreciate you coming
okay.
through, don't you? Yeah.
Because it wasn't capitalized. I was like, you eating cereal? Like, why are we talking about what you ate for breakfast?
No, not Raisin Bran.
So, okay, yeah, that brand. But yeah, it's just basically there's just been chaos in the
Yeah.
world. One of the other false dragons can channel,
Mhm.
so that's something that's going on. There's mention that the sea folk are doing something. Do you know anything of the sea folk? Like, did you have any thoughts about what they
Only
were
from
or?
I think the limited thing I saw in the show,
Mm.
right? If that's even
Oh,
them, but
okay,
only that. That's the only
okay.
it's the only thing, yeah.
All right. I again mentioned nothing from there. Um, and because this chapter flows quite naturally into the next one, I
Uh-huh.
guess I'll just move on.
Let's get it.
So I'll show you the icon,
And now we're
which
heading into chapter 5, the shadow
yeah,
and Shinar.
Shinar, yeah. So if you want to pop up the image there, so this is the chapter icon. This is the sunburst because literally one of the point of views in this chapter is from Jeffrey Bornhold, who is a white cloak, and then this is the final thing that happens in this
That boy
chapter.
looks
That's
bad.
yeah.
That boy's
So
down bad.
he's not looking good. That would be Pat Fane looking quite unhinged. So yes,
That Patton Fame
um,
part of some gothic band, ain't
yeah, it's what he does look like. Oh my gosh, yes,
he?
yes. Some sort of emo band. Okay,
Emo, there we
so
go.
this would be Moraine. Again, we're in Moraine's point of view, with her and Swan talking. They talk about, their fear of being stilled if they're ever caught with what they're doing. They talk about previous Amerlins and
Mhm.
politics within the tower. They talk about the Horn of Valir. One thing I will say, especially for like the first 6 or 7 books, the first chapters do a lot of recap,
Yeah.
because sometimes people will pick up book 2 without reading book 1. So they
Yeah,
will
I
just
like that.
like, yeah, this is what happened. So they talk about the Horn of Valir and what it is. They talk about the fact that there's a broken seal. The seal is being made of this material that is
Mhm.
not supposed to be breakable. Um, Swan is able to see Taviran, and she saw Rand, and he was glowing like crazy. And then they do talk about why they think all of the dragons are popping up, which they say is because uh, the pattern is demanding a dragon. Like it's time for the dragon, which,
Mhm.
because Rand is here, it's time for the dragon, and the pattern is demanding a dragon. And in doing so, it's just throwing up a bunch of false dragons until the real dragon comes. It's like the way this, for some reason, the way I thought about it now is like when you're listening to like EDM, and right before the beat drops, there's like a bunch of little, like, it's like boom, like that's the feeling that I felt like. So yeah. There's like 4 point of views in this chapter, so I think we should probably talk about them one
Yeah.
at a time. So yeah, that's this. First of all, Maureen's point of view. So thoughts on this one?
Um, I think you just get an insight into like how like cerebral she is, how much she's thinking about the plan
Mm.
from a bigger perspective. It just seems like it's just weird to me because it's like, okay, but what if that doesn't go the way you thought it would?
Hmm.
Do you have a backup plan for that, or is it just like a we'll wait and we'll see how it goes there?
Yeah.
I mean, what is your boy Taviran? What is your boy Loyal always talking about? Which they told him to shut up about in
Yes, yeah,
the
Taviran.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's like they do. I mean, in this point of view, there is the conversation of Moraine having to do things against their plan. Like she's like, "You send me a message, and then suddenly you're in Faldara," and Moraine's like, we had no choice." Like, and
mhm.
they're making all these plans, but already their plans, like at the end of book 1,
Yeah.
were not what their plans were supposed to be.
And speaking of
Um,
which, is it this chapter? Was it in a previous chapter? What is revealed that there are several messages that have been sent that Moraine let Rand go. Was it this chapter? Or was it the previous ones? Because I'm
I think it's the chapter before. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
The previous one where they said she's let him go. So, and I could see why that in and of itself may cause her to have to take a different approach to make it seem like she's not hands on. So I know she says it to Rand about pushing him away by not giving him attention, but it also may
Mm.
be good for her to not look like she has attention on him in general, so that if this becomes a subject matter, she can say, "I don't care anything about the boy."
Yeah, yeah. Because Elida, that's why in the previous chapter, Elida, it
Mhm.
was revealed. Elida was really upset because she went to try and find Rand and was like,
Yeah.
but then Moraine had taken him away. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, she's like making people say, I've been ignoring him for ages. Like, if you want him, you can have him. Like that could be
Yeah.
her whole thing. Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, the Horn of Valir, you know a bit more about that from the show, obviously.
Mhm.
But I thought it was interesting, like when the Amerlin arrived, Agomar was like, I don't want this anymore. Take it, take it, take it. Like it's too, it's too much responsibility for him,
Yeah.
because he wants to use it so badly that he just handed it off immediately.
And
Um,
that is again, just for clarification, that is the one that brings back the Will of Time Avengers, correct?
yes, you know that from the show. Oh yeah, they think they even talk about it in book
Yeah,
1.
they
Yeah,
call
yeah,
about the previous champions and stuff like that. I think they
yeah,
mentioned in
yeah.
the Outer World, I think a little bit
I think
about
yeah.
what it does, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Oh, everything starts to meld together in your brain,
Yeah, once you got
But
like 20 books down, I'm surprised. I mean, hey, a quick round of applause to Jen for being able to read all of those books and not say, why are we talking about people who aren't even alive right now? But hey, we can keep talking about them as if they have a future, which I like to, y'all know I like to play sometime to get her to crack to see what she's gonna say. She always stands strong.
yeah, the avatar helps. The avatar helps. It does. But yeah, I did reread the chapters before this just to make sure of
Mhm.
things, I will say. Um, yeah, that's, I mean, that's what's going on. They basically
Mhm.
are recapping what their mission has been, which has been to
Yes.
find the dragon and get them ready. And the reason that they're afraid of being stilled is that basically what they have to do is do something that nobody is allowed to. Like they know that Rand can channel, and if a
Yes.
man can channel, you're supposed to catch him and gentle him because
Yes.
they're dangerous. And because they know that he can channel, and the fact that they're letting him free that's against Tower Law. So
Yeah.
that's why they're very afraid. That's why they have to be so secretive about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And obviously, the Red Aja are the most what do you call it? Aggressive about that approach.
Yeah, that's the Red Aja's main focus is
Yes.
hunting down, which I have
The
feelings about,
men
like,
police.
yes, the men police, because it's very frustrating to read and be like, okay, the thing is, the magic system means that you need to do that. Like the
Yeah.
magic system of the world means that if these men are allowed to be like to keep channeling, they will end up killing and murdering people. So
Yeah.
we have to catch them, and yet they're awful. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Terrible. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at least Leandrin is not. I mean, she doesn't seem nice. Let's just say she doesn't. Sister Strong, Joe.
Doesn't seem nice is a nice way of putting that.
I mean, you
Mr.
know more
Strong
about her because of the
draws.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Nah, exactly. Doesn't
Mm,
seem nice is interesting because as we talk about doesn't seem nice, we see her in action this chapter, right?
exactly.
With her
Exactly.
manipulative tactics to kind of get closer to what she wants.
Yeah. Um, Okay, well, I'll do go in order, but we will talk about it because the next
Mhm,
part's really, really short.
mhm.
The next point of view is Jeff from Bornhold. That's why we got the starburst sign,
Yeah,
white cloak symbol. Basically, he's in Terabon. He doesn't quite know why he's there. You know, the White Cloak's mission always is to hunt dark friends, but he doesn't quite know what they're doing there. His main thing of relief is that they haven't killed any innocents, which I don't know how true that is, but they kill people who they think are dark friends, basically. And so his whole thing is that hopefully we haven't killed any innocents.
mhm.
Uh, and then he finds out they're there to meet questioners, and he's really upset about that. Questioners, do you remember what questioners are?
Yes, they are the portion of the white cloaks, right? That uh kind of like Valda, right? He was
Hmm.
he was
He's a
oh man.
questioner.
He's a questioner. Yeah, so and I think that's a term that they don't like to be
No,
called.
They I
But
think they call themselves the Hand of the Light, but I don't
it's
remember that name
crazy.
because I call them questioners. Yes.
Man,
So,
the backhand of the light, but
yeah,
well, at least when Valda's right
yes.
there chewing on
Yeah,
hummingbirds and stuff.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
like
yeah,
even in the books, they talk about how like they do torture. Basically, they torture
yeah.
people to get confessions out of them, which we know is, I mean, you're torturing me to say you're a dark friend. If I say I'm a dark friend, will you stop cutting skin off of my back? Okay, I'm a
That's
dark
the
friend.
thing
Like,
too, and this is the
yeah.
thing about the show that I guess would be cool to get more clarity on. Like, and not to compare this to, well, yeah, I mean, if we just, like good cop, bad cop. I mean, are there
Mm,
certain cops beating people in the streets? Yes. Are all of
yeah.
them there? No. So that's why when I think about this White Cloaks group, it's just like, is that just like Valda's faction of the White Cloaks who are doing that, or is that
Mm,
like a universal White Cloak tactic? Because they obviously
right.
have their feelings about Aes Sedai and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
I think when I look at it in the show, because even what is it, Joffrey Bornhold, the one we're talking about now,
Yeah.
he
Yeah. Yeah.
seemed like regardless of if he was right or wrong, he at least thought he was going by the book. Where Valda
Yes.
was like, forget the book, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do under the name of the White Cloaks, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you've caught on to it because yeah, Jeff from Bornholt's whole thing is we're here to hunt dark friends. I'm cool with hunting dark friends. And whether or not the people he's actually catching are
Yeah,
dark friends, we don't know. But he doesn't want to kill innocents. Whereas he looks down on the questioners. Like he meets the questioner, he's like, what? His
yeah,
whole he doesn't say it, but my interpretation is just, and I'll let me know if you think the same, but my
okay,
interpretation is when the way he thinks about the questioners is, I don't know if everybody they're catching as dark friends are dark friends because they torture.
exactly,
Like that
exactly.
seems to be his attitude. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, y'all got some innocent people around up in there.
Yeah,
and y'all
exactly.
and they just got
Exactly.
on your nerves for taking too long to answer your questions. And that's why, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So like it's in this situation, yeah, good cop, bad cop, although I would posit that even the good cops are probably not as good as they think they are. But I do think he thinks. I think you're right. I think he thinks he's good. So he's the least bad we've met. Yes. Yeah. All white cloaks think all Aes Sedai are evil. That is very true. They think that just by touching the one power, that makes you evil.
Yeah.
So even whether like, and which the logic behind that, some people will touch the white power whether they want to or not. Like if you have the talent born in you, you have no choice. So that logic would say that some people are born evil, which you know,
interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So any other thoughts on Jeff from Bornholt? Because his section is really short. So
yeah, no, I think that was it. It was just interesting hearing when people terms are thrown out, it's like I don't like that term. It's like, well, I don't like getting burnt alive either, but ain't nobody asking me about whether I want to be well done or not.
I prefer medium rare.
Not to be called medium rare, but
exactly. Okay, well, yeah, the next point of view then is Leandrin, and as you talked about, she goes to Amelisa and is real threatening and like basically making these accusations. Not lying. She's not saying anything untrue.
Oh my goodness, these Aes Sedai getting on my nerves with this little technicality they got. But man,
she's heavily implying that, are you a dark friend? Is your brother a dark friend? Right until Amelisa starts to like break, and then she does something to her with the one power, which will like it says she reaches out with the one power and she calls it her little trick, which I interpret like some sort of, I don't know, mind control, but she has to wait until they're basically broken until she can do it. And orders her to find all the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thoughts on this?
Thoughts on that is, I think this is the chapter, this is the instance to where Leandrin pretty much threatened the fact that she would put out the narrative that her and her brother were dark friends.
Yes.
And just the fear of how people would retaliate about that had her more afraid of the fact that it's like, hold on. You know how sometimes people are like, I don't care what you say, it's not true. And it's like, I would prefer you not to say that. And I think the interesting thing about it is, even if you look at and we keep doing real life comparisons, like when people reach a certain notoriety in life, right? Or a certain celebrity status, you'll start to hear about people talking about, oh, they just paid that lawsuit off. And it's like, it's not the fact that they're mad about it not being true. It's like, I don't have time to deal with the press and PR of you saying that I have 15 kids in Uganda somewhere. I'm just going to pay you just to not do it. It's kind of like one of those things there. It's just where it's like that type of narrative could be more detrimental than me just telling people, hey, it's not true, and just turning a blind eye to it.
That's pretty much it. And that at that moment when she's like breaking and somebody's put like compulsion light, like it's basically some sort of weave on her mind that makes her susceptible. At this point, it hasn't really explained.
The character didn't seem to take a dramatic turn, though, if I'm gonna be honest.
No.
Like, I saw Leandrin say she did whatever the trick was, but it's like, it felt like you already broke her and she was just still acting the same. It wasn't like she's like, no, Leandrin, I will do whatever you say, Leandrin.
Exactly.
I was expecting something like that based off the fact that Leandrin cued us in on the fact that she tapped into her with the one power or something like that. So
yeah, you're right. You're right. She doesn't immediately turn into a zombie. So something, but we don't know quite what. And that's now Amelisa is on.
But she does say it's something about the fact that she makes them want to believe or want to.
Yes. So it's not mind control, but it's sort of like it's manipulating somebody with magic. So not like the way Moraine was manipulating Ram, but like magically to her way of thinking, like to thinking. True. Yeah, that's what it is. And now she's on a mission to find all the boys, which I mean, the only one who's hiding is Rand. The rest of them are just like
living their best life.
Exactly. So far, like I don't think we met. Yeah, we didn't meet Leandrin last books, but we obviously knew Leandrin from the show. So I think this is these 5 chapters are your introduction to Leandrin. What do you think about how the show adapted her from what you've seen so far?
The show adaptation, if I'm comparing apples to apples, She might have, like, in my opinion, so far, one of the closer adaptations
Okay.
because she still seems vile and, like,
Mm,
mean.
mm.
Well, I guess we'll see. I think in the show, and I'm trying not to get too far ahead of what the
Of
book is
course. Yeah,
comparing.
yeah,
I think in the
yeah.
show, she seems like she's doing mean for a more specific, intimate reason, which we
Mm,
find out.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
right now, it just seems like, no, you're just like a terrible person. You're just like
Yeah,
a terrible person. Now, whether or
yeah.
not that manifests into something deeper or, or the same thing which we see in the show will be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Like, I'm curious. Okay, I don't know if there's any way for you to remember this because it's been,
Mhm.
what, 3 years since season one dropped. When you met Leandrin in the show, do you remember if you immediately disliked her or
Oh,
if you
facts. When she would chase my boy down with
Oh,
the
that's right, that's right.
she
Yes,
chased him
okay.
down on a horse with the sister. Do you make me whatever she said?
Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah,
might
yeah,
have.
yeah.
I don't know. She might have said something different, but you make me sick. Oh, me and Addison especially. It's like hold on. Man, I'm just
Wait, did
watching
she
the
say
show.
Addison especially?
I don't know no more. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. That's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
felt.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I forgot she was in that scene. You're right. Yeah, so
She
you
was
would
looking at the
immediately
character and
dislike
then she
her.
just turned from
Yeah.
looking into the screen, looking straight into the camera. I was like, oh snap.
Yes. Okay, okay. Because yeah, she comes in and she's immediately unpleasant
Yeah.
in the books as well. So okay, that's all right. That's it for Leandrin's point of view. The last point of view is Fane, which is where we get that Todd draws image from, and it's just him being creepy. And then someone comes in and he's like, "You, I didn't expect you. All right, let's do this." And so, what? Okay, what do you think the person is there to do? Whoever came in.
Man, time to break Pat and Fane out or break whatever was inside of
Yeah,
Pat and Fane out.
yeah,
One of the
probably.
two.
Yeah, break what's inside of him out. Yeah, yeah. Any? I mean, you have. That's a probably. I would say a fairly good guess as to what is about to happen. Any thoughts on who it is?
I mean, we did just see Leandrin's point of view.
Mm.
Um, any other thoughts about who it may be? This dark friend situation got me all over the place now. It could be
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
anybody. It
yeah.
could be anybody. It'll be interesting if it was Matt. I don't think that. I don't know. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. It could be a plethora of people. I don't
That's
think I
true. Because yeah,
pinpointed.
we didn't talk about that actually when we were talking about Matt, but Matt still has that dagger,
Yeah,
and
and
it's like
Maureen was
he
talking
can't put
about
it.
that.
Yeah, he can't put it down because if he gets rid of it, it will kill him. But if he keeps it, it's going to kill him. Just kill him slower. Like it's just a case of
Mhm.
do you die fast or you die slow? That's the situation that he's in right now.
Pick your
So
poison. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's the chat.
We got this conversation. When the Christian rapper said, I was wondering why Leandrin singled out some guy named Madison C. Swan. See, that's what I'm saying. So y'all saw it on y'all screen too. You heard it. Y'all heard this is confirmation that it was on other people's stream or other people's viewing experience when they saw it. Thank you so much for that. But man, that
Oh,
was fun. This is a really fun first introduction to the Great Hunt, and
mm,
I really enjoyed it, Jenny. Appreciate you so much for coming
yeah,
through.
no,
Anybody in the chat, if there's any last minute ones, let us know as we get ready for closing notes. And also to
mm,
talk a little bit about the schedule. Kate, if you
mm,
don't mind putting the next week's reading in the chat, we'll talk a little bit about that. But Jenny, I guess I want to ask you now that you're rereading,
mm,
is your like wow or aha or oh, I never pieced that together moments happen? I know you really can't reveal what those are, but
mm.
are you experiencing those while you're reading
Y-
this time around, or do you feel like you've got everything that you could have got from your first couple read-throughs or
No, I
first
always pick
20
up.
read-throughs? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason I think these books have a staying power is because you do pick up new things
Yeah.
every time. Like there's also like parts that I just love when this happens. But like I often bring up doing book one with you because there's something interesting about reading a book with another person. Oh, you got a super chat. That's a nice one. Look at that.
Okay.
So yeah.
My fault.
Um,
I'll read it after you finish.
okay. But because I was trying to think what will Adison see when he reads this, it made me see things differently. Like I made a connection. I remember about uh Perrin and his wife, and Perrin with the axe and Egwene that I wouldn't have made if I
Mhm.
hadn't been trying to put myself in your shoes while
I
reading
got
it.
you.
And the same thing happened this time, where there's this like, I bet you Addison's going to focus on Moraine and her attitude about Rand, and it made me read it differently because you've had a bit of your stick up your butt about Moraine since the beginning.
The doo-doo odds are talking about sticks up there, but that's crazy. I should have known it was gonna come from you.
but it makes me look at it differently because we talked about this before. Like, there's a different way people read it. Like, I never until the show, I never loved Moraine. Like, Moraine was cool, but I wasn't like, ooh, Moraine. Like, she was cool. And then the show happened and it centered her, and I'm like, oh, Moraine's got a hard road to hoe. And so the show gave me a different perspective when I read the books, and I trying to see things from her perspective, and then putting your mind on top of that, just like it's like filter on filter on filter, and it makes me see things differently, and I love it.
Gotcha. No, that's dope. That's dope. I'll shout out real quick this super chat that just came through. From Ann Findens, Ann Finds Sin, says just got home from the local pub, 3:30 a.m. in Norway. Been waiting so long for this. No sleep tonight because this I need to listen to in full. Appreciate you so much for that love. Also, that's a dope little picture of the dolphin. If that's really you, that's actually crazy.
That is cool.
But appreciate you so much for that love. And yeah, glad to be back at it again. This is the first installment of the series where we're going to try to, on a weekly basis, all the way up into the Wheel of Time season 3, read The Great Hunt. And also I have Jenny up here co-hosting with me today. We have other people who are going to come up and speak. But most importantly, for those of y'all in the chat, man, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it after the fact, definitely want y'all to tune in and tap in and join us. Again, try to stay aligned with the chapters that we're reading from that time, but please drop a comment. Let us know what some of your favorite moments are, and we're definitely going to be going to the comments to take a look at some of that throughout the course of our discussions. But Jenny, appreciate you so much. For one more time for the road, for those who are tuned in, if you want to tell them a little bit about your channel, how they can access you and where they can see some of your content as well before I let you go.
Yeah, sure. You can, it's on my shirt, Lesbian Nerdy. Just look up that channel. I talk about nerdy. I do a lot of Wheel of Time content, as you can see by the posters behind me. I love the Wheel of Time, but I also do reactions and stuff about other shows on the weekends. These days I've been playing Baldur's Gate. I'm almost done, I think. So I don't know. I'm really not good at games. I'm very bad at this. Every once in a while, somebody who's not a regular shows up and they're like, oh. Okay. I'm not good at it, but so you can just check out my channel, youtube.com/lesbiannerdy, and that's it.
Got you. Thank you so much, Jenny. Appreciate you so much. Great job as always. Appreciate you. I'm none the wiser as to what's gonna happen or when Rand is gonna be president of the world and everybody's gonna forgive him for all the misconceptions they had and nothing yet. All right, no spoilers. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much, Jenny. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
All right. My good people, there it is. We made a huge change this year in how we're approaching the book. Last time we did a lot of pre-recorded content and then put it out. This time we're taking y'all with us live, so y'all get to see a lot of the conversation discussions that we had. Super excited for having Jenny come on. For those of y'all who don't know, the first installment of that, we did the entire series. I did the entire series with Jenny, and she is, when I tell you, her eye for detail, her attention to making things polished, the quizzes, although I failed a lot of some of them. I know somebody in the chat mentioned earlier, they're like, where's the quiz at today? Hey, look, I ain't mad at it. I'm slightly, never mind. She probably listening. She'll probably have one ready to go for next time. So let me not say too much, for she just knocked me at the park with this one. But yeah, so I can't say thank you enough to her for that. We're on different time zones, so she actually has to wake up a lot earlier to be able to meet with me a lot later. So thank you so much for her. Now, as far as what the next week will look like, we're going to try to get back at this again on Thursday, hopefully around a similar time, and we're going to be reading through chapters 11. So for those of y'all who don't have the book, The Great Hunt, please pick that up. Me, myself, personally, I'm listening to the audio version narrated by none other than the great, very talented Rosamund Pike, who also in the show is playing the character Moraine. So she's actually voicing everybody in the book, which is crazy, and she's doing an immaculate job with that. But that is going to conclude today. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. And also want to encourage y'all, as y'all are in this book club, man, if y'all want to tap into other shows or movies or series that I watch alongside friends Brandon and other people like Carriana, I've also brought in another guest and things of that nature, then hit that bell to stay notified every time we drop a new video. And I don't know how much longer an outro can go than this right here. Love y'all, man. Be good. Catch y'all on the next one. Hey, also special shout out to mods too. Kate, Dana, Jillian, Helen, Britt. I'm about to forget somebody. I'm gonna be in trouble. Maddie. Who else I'm about to forget? Let me just stop before I get in trouble. For real. If I forgot you, man, please let me know in the comments, and I'm not gonna forget you next time. Bye.